Hello everyone, I am Assistant Professor Jayendra Patel from Mechanical Engineering Department, Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. This is the 12th lecture on the subject Indian Constitution, and from this lecture we are going to start a new topic called the Directive Principles of State Policies. We are going to understand what do you mean by Directive Principles of State Policies. We will understand the articles available inside this particular topic, and then we will go through their importance and their implementation. So let us start with this topic. So the directive principles of state policies are available in part 4 of the Indian Constitution, which contains article number 36 to 51. The idea of DPSPs, that is the Directive Principles of States Policies, is borrowed from the Irish Constitution. Now, this particular Irish Constitution had copied this particular idea from the Spanish Constitution. So ultimately, this particular idea belongs to the Spanish Constitution that has gone to the Irish Constitution, and finally this idea has been taken from Irish Constitution, and after the modification of this particular idea, we have implemented state policies in our Constitution. Also, we are having some of the basic data from the Government of India Act that was available in the British rule. Next, the Sapru Committee in 1945 suggested two categories of individual rights. The one being the justiciable rights and other being the non-justiciable rights. Now, what do you mean by justiciable rights? As we know, they are the fundamental rights. All the fundamental rights are basically the justiciable right, for which we can get justice. We can go to Supreme Court for the justice for fundamental rights. But the second part that was suggested by the Sapru Committee was the non-justiciable ones. They are known as Directive Principles of State Policies. So basically, Directive Principles of State Policies are what? They are non-justiciable. That means if they are not implemented, we cannot go to the Supreme Court, or say we cannot find any kind of justice in that case. Now, the Directive Principle of State Policies are non-justiciable, which means they are not enforceable by the courts for their violation. However, the Constitution itself declares that these principles are fundamental in the governance of the country, and it shall be the duty of the state to apply these principles in making the laws. Hence, they are imposed on a moral obligation on the state authorities for their implementation. In short, DPSPs are ideals which are meant to be kept in mind by the state when it formulates any kind of policies or enacts any kind of laws. Or we can say, in other words, the state cannot make laws against these DPSPs available in the constitutions. Okay, so ultimately what we understand from the DPSPs? We can say that कि DPSP एक प्रकार से क्या है? एक प्रकार से एक मॉरल इंस्ट्रक्शंस है. इन इंस्ट्रक्शंस को कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में दिया गया है और इन इंस्ट्रक्शंस को सभी स्टेट्स को फॉलो करना है. एंड जो भी पॉलिसीज वो लाते हैं, जो भी लॉज वो बनाते हैं, वो सभी लॉज उन पर्टिकुलर सेट ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शंस के बेसिस पे होना चाहिए. एंड इट इज देयर मोरल ड्यूटी. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम द DPSP. Now, there was some definition or say some explanations available. Let us understand those definitions or say explanations. Now, the first thing says that they are an instruments of instructions. As I told you, they are the instrument of instructions which are enumerated in the Government of India Act 1935. Now, this particular Government of India Act 1935 is the act from the British rule, from which we have taken the structure of the whole act. Okay, so we have taken some of the idea of DPSPs from that particular act also. Second explanation says that they seek to establish economic and social democracy in the country. And third explanation says that DPSPs are ideals which are not legally enforceable by the courts for their violation. So these are the same thing that we have discussed earlier. Now, you may think that DPSPs are almost sounding similar to the preamble of the constitution, क्योंकि preamble में भी same चीज की गई है. preamble में भी कई चीजें ऐसी हैं जो basically non justiciable है, but they are available. Like we are having the justice, social, economic and political. We are having liberties. These are the different kind of liberties. We are having equalities, fraternity. Okay. And lots of things are available in the preamble. And additionally, we know that the preamble of the constitution is called the key for the reference to the mind of the drafters of the constitution. Basically, preamble shows the objectives of our constitution. उनको ध्यान में रखते ही drafters ने हमारा constitution बनाया है. So basically, we can say that for the drafters of the constitution, the preamble was like a directive principle of the state policies. Or in another words, we can say that कि basically the DPSP, that means the directive principles of state policies, is the elaborated version, that means more expanded version of our preamble. And many scholars believe that the DPSPs are the reflections of the overall objectives available in the preamble. Means DPSPs are basically the seeds to be grown by the state to achieve the goals of our preamble. Okay. Now, let us go to the features of the DPSPs. Now, first feature of the DPSP is that it is not enforceable in a court of law. So, initially, the idea of making DPSPs justifiable was dropped. The reason was what? Because of the financial status of our state. Okay, initially, we were financially too much backward. Okay, so we had not financial status to implement all the DPSPs. So what happened? They were made non-justifiable. But this particular thing also gives the opportunity to the state to come up with more better and progressive laws based on these DPSPs. The next features says that it consists of all the ideals which the state should follow and keep in mind while formulating the policies and enacting laws for the country. So basically DPSPs are the ideals while making laws and formulating the policies. The next feature is the DPSPs are like a collection of instructions and the directions which are issued under the Government of India Act 1935 to the governors of the colonies of the India. So basically this is the historical data. Initially in the Government of India Act 1935, it was implemented like the collection of the instruction or say directions, जिसको सभी गवर्नर्स को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दिया गया था और बोला गया था कि इन पर्टिकुलर इंस्ट्रक्शंस के बेसिस पे आपको स्टेट को चलाना है. और सेम चीज अभी अवेलेबल है कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में ऐड किए गए हैं डीपीएसपीज, जो कि बेसिकली आइडियल्स है, यानी कि सेट ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शंस ही है जिनको फॉलो करके हमारे स्टेट को आगे बढ़ना है और हमारे स्टेट को ग्रो करवाना है. The next feature is it constitutes a very comprehensive economic, social and the political guidelines or say principles and tips for a modern democratic state that aims towards the objective written in the preamble. The preamble asks for the justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. Okay, all these things are included in the DPSPs. So basically everything that required to achieve the goal of the preamble is written in the DPSPs of the Constitution. The next feature says that adding the DPSP was all about creating the welfare state which works for the individuals, for the country, which was absent during the colonial era. The next point says that though it is non-justiciable in nature, It helps the courts in examining and determining the constitutional validity of the laws. Okay, so if the court finds that any law is going against the DPSPs, the court may state that that particular law is invalid. So basically, the DPSPs are the reference point for validating the laws. And the last point is basically not the feature, it is the data from one of the statement given by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He described these DPSPs as the novel features of Indian Constitution. Now, remember this thing because many times as a short questions or say as a MCQ question, this is one of the most important point. Now, let us go towards the classification. Indian Constitution does not contain any kind of classification on the DPSPs. However, on the basis of their content and the direction, they can be classified into three broad categories. Remember that they are not official categories, but to understand the explanation of each and every point, it is necessary to divide the whole set of DPSPs into three different parts. These parts are socialistic principles, Gandhian principles, and liberal and intellectual principles. Now it is not like that key particular article set is available for these principles, the next set is available for this principle, and last set is available for this principle. It is not like that. Okay, it will contain random articles. So maybe article 37 comes over here. Some part of the article 37 may come in this part. Okay, so it is not necessary कि भाई एक particular classification में एक particular article fix ही हो जाएगा. So remember this thing. Now let us understand what are all these categories. Very first thing is the socialistic principles. Now socialistic principles are the principles that aims at providing the social and economic justice. Okay, the term itself says that socialistic principles. So basically they aim at the social and economic justice and set the paths towards the welfare of the state. Second is the Gandhian principles. Now the term itself says it is the Gandhian principles. So basically these principles are based on Gandhian ideologies used to represent the program of reconstruction enunciated by the Gandhiji during the नेशनल मूवमेंट. ओके, सो जब भी नेशनल मूवमेंट चल रही थी तब गांधी जी के द्वारा कुछ प्रिंसिपल्स स्थापित किए गए थे. उन पर्टिकुलर प्रिंसिपल्स को एक आइडियोलॉजी बना के यहाँ पे कलेक्ट किया गया है. सो दीज आर द गांधीयन प्रिंसिपल्स. एंड लास्टली द थर्ड वन, द लिबरल इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रिंसिपल्स. लिबरल मीन्स सेम फॉर ऑल, सिंपल. Okay, so basically this principle collects reflection of the ideology of liberalism. That means उदारतावाद के सिद्धांत अवेलेबल है यहाँ पे. Now let us quickly check out the set of directive principles one by one. So very first article is the article number 36, which basically contains the definition of the state. Now over here the state means the same that was available in the part 3. We already discussed the state in the part 3, but we have not gone through the proper definition. Actually part 3 contains not only article number 14 to 35. We only discussed article number 14 to 35. But it also contains article number 12 and article number 13. But they are like a reference कि भाई article number 14 to 35 इस particular तरीके से implement होगी. Okay, ये same चीज article 12 and 13 बोलता है. That's it. That's why we not studied article 12 and 13. So over here article number 12 of part 3 में state की definition दी गई है. The definition says that the state includes the governmental and parliament of India and the government and the legislature of each of the states and local or the other authorities within the territory of India or under the control of the government of India. So basically जो भी चीज हो जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के कंट्रोल में आती हो, whether they are the government of India, whether it is the Parliament of India, whether it is the government of legislature of any state like Gujarat हो गया, महाराष्ट्र हो गया, any state or any local authorities. Remember that local authorities, जिसको हम ग्राम पंचायत बोलते हैं, म्यूनिसिपालिटीज बोलते हैं, कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज बोलते हैं. Okay, all these things can be stated as a state. So this is what is available in the article number 36, the definition of the state. Article number 37 deals with the application of the principles contained in the part number 4. So article number 37 में basically क्या है, जो भी चीजें part 4 में available है, उनकी application कैसे की जाएगी, उनका details given है. So it says that the provisions contained in this part shall not be enforced by any court, but the principles therein laid down are nevertheless fundamentals in the governance of the country, and it shall be the duty of the state to apply these principles in making the laws. Clear? So article number 36, 37, article 36 deals with the definition of the state, 37 deals with how this part will be implemented. Now, let us move towards our three basic categories. The first category is the socialistic principles. As we discussed earlier at the classification stage, these principles reflect the ideology of the socialism. They lay down the framework of the democratic socialistic state, aims at providing the social and the economical justice, and this sets path towards the welfare state. So let's check out all of those articles available under these lists. And as I discussed earlier, there will be no sequence of the articles. Okay. So the very first is the article number 38. This article says to promote the welfare of the people by securing a social order through justice. What kind of justice? Social, economic and political, and to minimize the inequalities in income, status, facilities and opportunities. So basically it authorizes the states to secure a social order for the promotion of the welfare of citizens of India. Clear? So this was article number 38. Let us move towards the next article, article number 39. It says that the citizens, man and woman, equally have the right to an adequate means of livelihood. Second, the ownership and the control of the material resources of the community are so distributed as the best to subserve the common good. The third point is the operation of the economic system does not result in concentration of the wealth and means of production to the common detriment. So in the part 3, there is a prevention of the concentration of the wealth is there. The fourth point, there is equal pay to equal work for both man and woman. There is a concept of equal pay for equal work over here. The fifth point is the health and the strength of the workers, men and women, and the children are not abused, and that citizens are not forced by economic necessity to enter in the occupation that is unsuitable to their age or the strength. So basically fifth part deals with the health and the strength of the workers, as well as it deals with the forcible abuse. The sixth point, the children are given opportunities and facilities to develop in healthy manner and in condition of the freedom and the dignity, and the childhood and the youth are protected against the exploitation and against the moral and the material abandonment. In short, it shows the opportunities for the healthy development of the children. Next is the amendment, that is article number 39A. It says that the state shall secure that the operation of the legal system promotes the justice on the basis of equal opportunity and shall, in particular, provide free legal aids by suitable legislation or scheme or in any other way to ensure the opportunities for securing the justice are not denied by the citizens by the reason of economic or other disabilities. So basically it promotes the equal justice and free legal aid to the poor. And this point was added in the 42nd Amendment 1976. The next article is article number 41. It says that the state shall, within the limit of its economical capacity and the development, make effective provision for securing the right to work, right to education, and right to public assistance in case of unemployment, old age, sickness, and disablement, and in other cases of undeserved wants. So basically, in case of unemployment, old age and sickness and the disablement, the state should secure their right to work, right to education and the public assistance. Okay, so this is the responsibility of the state as per the DPSPs to secure all these things in any of the cases. The article number 42 says that the state shall make provisions for securing just and the humane condition of the work and for maternity relief. So this is about the article number 42. 43, this article says that the state shall endeavor to secure by using any suitable legislation or any organic organization or any other ways to all the workers, सभी वर्करों के लिए ये चीज सिक्योर करनी है, whether they belongs to agricultural, industrial or any other industry or any kind of work. कौन कौन सी चीजें सिक्योर करनी है? The living wages, the condition of the work, ensuring the decent standard of life and social and cultural opportunities for all these workers. यानी कि या फिर कोई लेजिस्लेशन बनाओ या फिर कोई इकोनॉमिक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बना दो या फिर कोई भी अलग से रास्ता बना लो, लेकिन इस पर्टिकुलर चीज को हमें सिक्योर करना है. कौन सी चीज को सिक्योर करना है? कि सभी वर्कर्स के लिए यानी कि कोई भी एग्रीकल्चर सेक्शन हो गया या फिर कोई इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्शन हो गया या फिर कोई भी अलग से सेक्शन हो गया जिनमें वर्कर काम करते हैं, उन सभी वर्कर के लिए हमें कुछ चीजें सिक्योर करनी है. कौन कौन सी चीजें सिक्योर करनी है? तो वी नीड टू सिक्योर द लिविंग वेजेस, दैट मीन्स द सेट ऑफ मिनिमम वेज. Okay, the minimum wage that a worker should be given. Second thing, a condition of work ensuring a decent standard of living and social and cultural opportunities for them. Clear? So this is what article number 43 deals with. ये article फिर से आएगा, उसमें और भी कई चीजें available हैं. Okay, now let us go to the next article, which is the amendment, article number 43A. It says that the state shall take step by suitable legislation or any other way to secure the participation of workers in the management of undertaking, establishment or other organization engaged by any industry. So in short, स्टेट को वर्कर्स का मैनेजमेंट में पार्टिसिपेशन सिक्योर करना है. ओके, अगर कोई वर्कर इंडस्ट्री में काम करता है तो उनका भी कोई पर्सन या फिर उनका भी कोई रिप्रेजेंटेटिव मैनेजमेंट के साथ होना चाहिए. दिस इज व्हाट दिस पर्टिकुलर आर्टिकल 43A टेल्स टू अस. द नेक्स्ट इज आर्टिकल नंबर 47. दिस आर्टिकल स्टेट्स दैट द स्टेट shall regard the raising of the level of the nutrition. It should raise the level of nutrition and the standard of living of people and to improve health of publics. Clear? So this article basically deals with the health of publics and the level of nutrition of the citizens of India. Now, this was the set of socialistic principles. Now, let us move towards the next set of category, which are the Gandhian principles. Now, as we discussed earlier, these principles are based on Gandhian ideology. They represent the program of the reconstruction enunciated by the Gandhiji during the national movement. And in order to fulfill the dream of the Gandhiji, some of his ideas were included as a directive principles in the इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. सो लेट अस चेक आउट कि गांधी जी क्या चाहते थे और उनके किन किन आइडियाज को एज डीपीएसपी हमने ऐड किया है. सो वेरी फर्स्ट इज आर्टिकल नंबर 40. द आर्टिकल 40 स्टेट्स दैट द स्टेट शैल टेक स्टेप्स टू ऑर्गेनाइज विलेज पंचायत यानी कि ग्राम पंचायत एंड एंडो और से एम्पावर देम विथ सच पावर्स एंड ऑथोरिटी एज may be necessary to enable them to function as a unit or self-government. Now, as of now हमको लगता होगा कि यार ये सेम चीज अवेलेबल है हमारे पास, but it was not available initially. Okay, so it was done by the amendment. So basically this was the dream of Gandhiji to create a self-government by giving powers and authority to the gram panchayat या फिर village panchayats. Now, the next article is article number 43. This article deals with the cottage industries, जिनको हम बोल सकते हैं कुटीर उद्योग या फिर हम बोलते हैं गृह उद्योग, लघु उद्योग. Okay, all these things comes under the cottage industries. It says that the state shall endeavor to promote cottage industries on an individual or cooperative basis in the rural areas. The article number 43 is the next article. It says that to promote the voluntary formation, autonomous functioning, democratic control and the professional management of cooperative societies. So article number 43 deals with the cooperative societies. It says that there should be the voluntary formation of the societies, autonomous functioning and democratic control of the societies and the professional management of the societies should be there. Now, you may find lots of cooperative societies or say cooperative banks and all the cooperative things in the India nowadays. That means basically this article has been implemented by the various acts. Now, let us move towards the next article, article number 46. It deals with the SCs and STs. The article says that the state shall promote with special care and the education and the economic interest of the weaker sections of the people and in particular of the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and shall protect them from the social injustice and exploitation. सो आर्टिकल 46 डील करता है वीकर सेक्शन के साथ या फिर पर्टिकुलरली बोला जाए तो एससीज और एसटीज के साथ उनको एजुकेशनली और इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट को प्रमोट करना है और उनको इनजस्टिस और एक्सप्लॉयटेशन से प्रोटेक्ट करना है. सो दिस इज व्हाट अबाउट आर्टिकल नंबर 46. नाउ आर्टिकल नंबर 47 इट डील्स विद द प्रोहिबिशन ऑफ द कंजप्शन ऑफ intoxicating drinks and the drugs which are injurious to health. One of the most recent example is the prohibition of the use of tobacco. Drugs already illegal है and thirdly गुजरात में specifically गुजरात में alcohol भी banned है. Okay, so this is all because of the article number 47. The next article, article number 48, it deals with the prohibition the slaughter of the cows and the other milch and the draft cattle and to improve their breeds. Over here cows means गाय के जो बछड़े हैं उनको cows बोलते हैं. Mills means जो दूधारू पशु होते हैं, okay, जो दूध देते हैं वो animals, और से mammals that are giving or say that are kept for giving the milk, and the draft cattle means बाकी सभी पशु. So we can say that article number 48 deals with the prohibition of the slaughtering of all these animals and to improve the breeds of these animals. So these are all the Gandhian principles. Now let us go ahead and check out the third classification, which is the liberal intellectual principles. Now the principles that included in this category represents the ideology of liberalism. That means the Udartavad Niti. So the first article over here is the article number 44, which says that the state shall endeavor to secure all the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the country. यानी कि वन नेशन वन लॉ की स्ट्रेटेजी को हमें फॉलो करना है. The next article is the article number 45 that deals with the children's with the age below the 6 years. This article says that to provide early childhood care and education for all children until they complete the age of 6 years. The next article is article number 48, which deals with the agricultural section and animal husbandry section. It says that to organize both of the section, the agriculture and the animal husbandry section, as well as to provide them the modern and scientific lines. So article 48 deals with using the modern and scientific methods in the agricultural as well as the animal husbandry section. Next article is the article number 49. It says that to protect the monuments, places and objects of artistic or historical interest which are declared to be the national importance. आपने कई बार न्यूज़पेपर में भी पढ़ा होगा कि ASI, जिसको हम बोलते हैं आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया, डिक्लेयर्स नंबर्स ऑफ मॉन्यूमेंट्स अवेलेबल या फिर प्लेसेस अवेलेबल एज अ नेशनल इंपोर्टेंट प्लेसेस, यानी कि उनको सिक्योर करने की बात करता है. सो दिस इज ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ द आर्टिकल नंबर 49. द नेक्स्ट आर्टिकल इज द आर्टिकल नंबर 50, which deals with the separation of judiciary from the executive in public services of the state. So article number 50 says that there should be the separation of executive section as well as the judiciary section. They both should work independently. They should not be interconnected. यानी कि स्टेट कोई भी ऐसा लॉ नहीं बना सकता या फिर से पार्लियामेंट कोई भी ऐसा लॉ पास नहीं कर सकती जो कोर्ट को रेस्ट्रिक्ट करे. Clear? Now, the article number 51 is the next article. Now, it deals with the promotion of the international peace and security and maintaining just and honorable relation between the nations. Next point is to foster the respect for international laws and treaty obligations. And the last point is to encourage settlement of the international disputes by arbitration. So article number 51 deals with the international level. It says that to maintain and promote the international peace, security and maintain the relationship between the nations. Further, it deals with the respect of the international laws and the treaties. Now the treaties are basically, we can say, the mutual understanding between two or more than two countries. Okay. सो दोनों कंट्रीज या फिर मोर देन टू कंट्रीज के बीच में जो म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग होती है उनको एक ट्रीटी का फॉर्म दिया गया होता है और उन ट्रीटीज के बेस पे दोनों देशों का व्यापार या फिर कोई भी चीज जिनके बीच में ट्रीटी हुई हो वो चलती है. एंड लास्टली, टू एनकरेज द सेटलमेंट ऑफ द इंटरनेशनल डिस्प्यूट बाय आर्बिट्रेशन. सो दिस इज अबाउट आर्टिकल नंबर 51 एंड दिस इज द एंड ऑफ आवर फर्स्ट लेक्चर ऑन this particular topic, the directive principles of state policies. So in the next lecture we will discuss further about the directive principles and we will understand what are the implementation, how the DPSPs are implemented in the India. So till then, keep learning. Have a good day.